Hello everybody, welcome back to Jake's RC Stuff, and today we are going to be continuing on with the White Shark build. So that I don't go completely doolally from doing all laminating, I've decided I'm going to do all the control rod linkages. Have a look, here are what I call swivels, which seem decent enough quality. Some people don't like the fact they have like the big screws to go into them and not grub screws. We'll see how we go with those, but I'm going to replace the nuts that you can sort of see there with nylock nuts. The options are to keep the nuts on is that you can either use a bit of Loctite or super glue to keep the nuts on, or do what I do and replace them with nylock nuts. You can still take it on and off, but they're not going to vibrate loose. If these don't work, I do have some of the swivels kicking about. This is like the screw pack. So these longer screws are for your motor mounts, so obviously you're not going to need them today, but all these smaller ones are for your horns. And the way these horns work is you don't actually need this back piece, they're just going to screw directly into the wood and that's it. And there's only 2 holes, that's why there's only 8 little screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, there's 10. Okay, there's 2 spares. Well, yeah, these back bits are just going to cut off and not use because it doesn't come all the way through, as you can tell. And I've put like a screw through the hole, and there's plenty. If I should line that up for you, there's plenty going into the wood. I may use a dab of thin super glue just to keep it in there. Yes, let's get started. I'll get you in the mount and we'll have a look at this. Okie dokie. So the bit that I didn't mention is the control rods. They're all the same size, and they're all positioned quite close to the rod. So even though these are they aren't exactly the strongest in the world, I think they'll be fine because of the distance. And if they're not, it's quite easy to strengthen them up with a bit of 2mm carbon and things like that. So, first thing we need to do first is cut off, careful of your fingers, the back spots. A bit of a sand out. That's what they look like. They're really nice and strong. They're not the ones that have the daft air holes in. I think they'd probably say, oh, it's to be light, but really it's to save 0.13 of a pence on plastic. I'm going to shut the MacBook up so that nothing hits the screen. I realise you can't see a lot of this, but this are being done. I don't care that they're pinging off because, as I say, we don't need them. 1, 2, 3. Where's the last one? Uno, dos, tres. 1, 2, 3. Am I blind? 1, 2, 3. Quail war. Oh, there's one more in the bag. Cut that off. There we go. Alright, so in theory, all this is a dry run to begin with. We can just screw these in. My only criticism with this is that the holes, ideally, you always want over the hinge line. That's why they have this step. You can see this sort of like step where it comes out. It's quite far away from the hinge line, which is a little bit annoying because it means you'll get differential on your ailerons. I just hope it's the differential in the right way. Again, it's a case of I haven't checked now, but when I first got this plane, there wasn't that many videos on it. So, actually no, if we take that off. I don't have any thin glue, unfortunately. Have I balls that up? No. And the super glue, not being directly in the holes, also sort of glues the rod on as well. Okay, if that's the first one done, get the second one done as well. Again, I'll give it a quick dry run. This one seems to fit a bit more loosely, so I'm trying to make sure it's pointing in the right direction. Excellent, okay. And I have removed the plastic over the piece of wood from our laminate, so the glue, you know, when I said about the glue actually gluing, it will do, because obviously the glue doesn't glue very well to the shiny plastic, which is why I've also removed it over where these are eventually going to get glued into the fuselage. There we go. Got two more left for the other side. They can now glue. I'm going to put all the little screws away. I'll be back in a minute once I've done a little bit of tidying up, and we'll go to the next step. So our next step is we need to cut out. This is the first time I'll have done this, at least on this plane. I think I may have done it on the drag, but I'm not 100% sure. Now on these tail sections compared to the wings, I had to dig quite a lot into the wing for this arm, so that's going to be a little bit exposed, but never mind. Okay, do the same for this tail. Now, something that you should possibly do if you're using brand new servos, or something that you will have to do if you're using brand new servos, is you'll probably have to make the hole a little bit bigger for the swivels. What I personally recommend doing is getting like a 2mm rod or whatever, heating it up and poking it through. Don't use a drill, because you'll end up like bending this horn out the way and stuff. Mine, because they've come out of the plane, are pre-drilled one from the end. If it's an arm like that, especially if it's a fairly long arm, always do one in from the end, just so it's got a bit more, it's not just going to snap off. One thing that does concern me about these swivels is the fact they don't have any washers or anything, which is a bit weird. Let me get them to... Nylock nuts, here we are. Do these fit in the pre-existing holes? No. Okay. Swivels. Let's see about these. Okay, so our swivels on file don't fit either. What about in the rudder. No. Okay, what I'm going to do then is something that I don't necessarily recommend. So this is at your own risk. What I'm going to do, I'm only doing it because I have spare swivels if needed. I'm going to heat up this swivel with a blowtorch and then push it through. If I can find my blowtorch, that is. Where's the blowtorch? I might have to come back when I found the blowtorch. Where's my blowtorch? Is it in here? I'll be back when I find a blowtorch. Right, apologies for those last two clips being a bit sort of ASMR-y when I'm talking, but you can basically see what I'm doing. I'm heating up our thing. I am then pressing it through the hole as much as I can, but it seems to need a load of heating up. There we are. Oh, that smells. You can sit over there for a while. Right, that's done. Obviously, I've actually found that. I got that on like an Amazon Prime Day for like £8. It's brilliant. Even my dad, who had to ask where it was, says that he underestimated it. So, let's have a look at grabbing a swivel. Let's fill itself back up a little bit. Get a nice, carefully. Yeah, I think I'm going to put washers on and the swivel. So it didn't come with any washers. It didn't come with normal nuts. But I got some better nuts. Which we'll use. So the assembly will be as follows. Let me zoom in a smidge. Swivel, washer, which is a bit big, washer, go this way. It's got a bit of a screw on it. One problem with that is the nut might not go all the way on. No good reason to have these sort of like socket spanner things. sure if this is going to be the best idea or not. We'll find out. So the now lock is definitely on there, but that's a bit too tight. Still too tight. That's more like it. Okay, so and what we can do, pop that in there, and we basically have our control rod set up. Last thing we need to do, and this would need a little bit of Loctite unless we use a grub screw. Really cinch that down for now. And there is our first control connection. That is a little bit. It'll be fine. Okay, so off camera I'm going to assemble the other one. This will be the exact same process, and I'll show you it once it is done. Okay, so these are now both loosely set up. They do need snipping off a little bit when they're done, and also I do have grub screws to replace these screws, but I don't have Allen keys to go in the grub screws, which is a bit weird. I tried alone, can't find one, so I'm going to end up using these screws, but just Loctite or a bit of super glue on them when they're all set up fine. But they're basically like done at this point, so they can go back in the box. And I was thinking, no, does this mean I have to go back to laminating? But no, we can look at installing the motors on the wings, hence the fact that motor mounts and stuff are here. I'll be back with you in a second where we will look at doing such things.